That's, again, the wrong light. Hey, if you're enjoying this content, hit the like button. We're going to work on trees today. My iPad's a bit dead, so I'm just trying to get it up and going. Let's see. So, yesterday we got the second prototype of the tree done, and on the Discord that's linked down below, I posted this, which is kind of the mechanical design of the magnetic aspect of the trees. And you must work little music. And right here is the dried tree. I think dried. I have not touched it. I barely have looked at it today. So that way you can get my first impressions of the tree here. I still turn that light on. I look good, so it doesn't matter. Oh, you might have noticed the lamps have changed. It's mostly for convenience of walking around. Rather than dodging dangling lights, I've put them up above. A little bit higher and kind of blended into the apartment. So, I'm gonna grab the tree. Sam Kent, I'm gonna grab the tree. We're gonna kind of feel it out, think about what we learned, and we have generally a game plan written here. But we'll kind of go over the game plan since we're exiting the prototype phase of this project. All right. So, this is our first prototype. I like the fact that what we've been doing, which we can see on the second prototype as well, it's not a perfect tree. Like, it's not something that could just come from a mold and repeat. There's always something a little bit different going on, and I really like that. The process of gluing it on this, we can see a lot of the residue of the glue kind of lingering as white specks. It's fairly strong. I could make it stronger. Hi, Chance. And the fact that I can make it stronger is a good thing because that means I did it right. So I like the fact that the magnet does have a nice feel to it, a nice experience to it. And if I put it down on the table, if I take my minis, which we'll talk about these minis in a second. If I put them down, if there were multiple trees nearby each other, it's actually really hard to get you a better angle. It's actually really hard if you're thinking about playing the game to actually interact with them. Whereas you can just get in there, pull the top off, move a mini around, you're doing really well. Downside of the first prototype tree is when I lean it too far, the weight of the tree takes it from me, and we have a kind of not stable system for bumping and moving your hands in a little too aggressively, which I think overall not a big end of the world problem. It just feels not as steady as I'd like it, and based off my experience and the reason why I added magnets to the wooden structure terrain, this would come into mind every time I went to go grab the tree, and I would be upset about it. So I don't want that. I do like this though, how it could just be fallen over, and that can just add to the terrain. So having the magnets there allows that kind of sandbox experience when playing. So I really like that. This base is glued to this trunk. I don't like it, but I also don't mind it. It's not the end of the world for me. Because originally they were meant to come apart, but it was too unstable and falling around. Gluing it made it more stable, obviously, and I like the fact that the base is nice, like putting texture on the base with the tree. It's really pretty, and it's satisfying to look at. We did tests on putting different shades of green in different parts of the tree. So, for example, medium as an overall. Then I put dark green down below and sprinkled light green grass on top to give it a little finer vibe to it. Up close, you can technically see the shades in action. I don't know if you can on camera. Let me know. But because of the glue residue, I can't really appreciate it. So that's I don't think this is going to be a final tree at all. I think I'm not going to use this tree. I could probably give it away. Put some more glue, put some more clear glue on this so it's stable and stick together, but I can give it away as a solid prototype. So prototype number 2, this guy. I have not touched it yet, and yesterday we dried it. We glued it. It fell, and it needs more leaves put onto it, at least based off the falling. Let's get it a little bit more leveled. Oh, that's such a better angle. So let me feel it. I like it. It has a thick rubbery experience to it. I think I could put a little bit more glue on it and it would be rock solid and you could transport it no problem. You can kind of see the rubbery kind of comes back out. Right after the stream, I sprinkled a little bit more of the summery spice on it. I think I could do more. I like how bright it is. So I think just a dash of more summer spice could give it more of that, like the light is catching, or the leaves are catching the sunlight kind of effect. Big difference from prototype 1 and 2 is if I lean it over and we take number 2, doesn't fall over. Now the question is it glued because of all the glue that dried? It was a little glued. Oh no, the magnet's in there. Oh no. Well, it still falls over because it's 1 peg instead of 2 pegs now. But it is stronger than this. It doesn't look like it, but you can feel it. Prototypes, what are you gonna do, right? But just having a little bit, let's see if I can give you the angle, has a little bit of a magnetic peg. It was meant to be 2, but now because of the glue drying, it's 1. And it just snaps in, and it's just enough, I think. Yeah, it feels fine. I would feel confident playing with this more than I would with this one. That's a good feeling. There's a lot of openings because it did fall. Let's see if I can show. Here we go. Let me know if you can tell a little bit of the difference between the polyfiber mesh underneath and the greenery that's supposed to be glued to it. I see a few spots. It's not the end of the world. It's just noticeable. And I think that's okay.
Give it a few minutes, but you can keep the tea bag in.
Okay. I would like to put a little bit, at least in these corners, not the whole thing. I think what's really nice about this versus this is because it fell. This seems like it's a stick into a bush, like cotton candy. Where this, because it fell and I scattered the branches enough, you can kind of see up the tree, which is a nice little subtle thing. So I feel like if I put too much glue and glue too much underbrush to it, I would lose this little bit of appreciation that I have for this tree. So this is good. It's pretty nice. When we come to the bottom trunk, this piece is not glued to the base. It's not supposed to be. But it did. Rotate it. There we go. So the plan was to have this separate, so that way I can swap out the trunk for anything. But I've been thinking the only reason I need to swap out the trunks if I have different colored trees. And the only different colored trees really, well, there's a lot of dried glue on this. I can see it. It's white. Yeah. I sprayed it too much with the glue. That's okay. Put a wash on this and that should clean it up. So the only reason I would want to be able to pull this off of the magnets is I want to use this base, but I have a dark tree and I put the dark tree on here. When we look on here, we have 16 bases, 24 trees. There's the dark tree one, the mud one, and then the green one. And the mud one would probably just be a snow one, which would be cool. No, they have to be, I could just make snow ones. But it is easier and cheaper to just make a bunch of logs of, what is it? 4 light ones. How many trees? Yeah, 4 light ones. Sorry, I'm just counting. 8 light logs and 8 dark logs. Total of 16. I don't know if that's necessary. Yeah, I don't think that is. I think 16 bases makes sense. Because I can put up a bunch of different types of trees. But I think the number of logs, I only need about 4, maybe 6 at a time. Maybe 5 tops. And then I could just put them on different bases. When I picked this up today, this was all glued together and dried. But we can see how much it can just fall apart. It can take a hit, which is great. And it can still have the fallen tree effect to it. And because of the peg, and there's magnets inside the tree a little bit. It's actually kind of connected and a bit strong. That's nice. So yeah, I'm loving so far everything about this. There's a helicopter. Let me close the window. So my question for you, does it make sense to have the trunk glued to the base, or should we just have a full magnetic system at each point? It does mean, like, no matter what, even if it was glued to the ground, like there's a point for it to break at any point. It would have to be a solid single tree that you can't interact with, and it's just there, all glued together. And then if the tree knocks over, you just do this, which is not as cool as this. Let's be honest. I'm digging this so far. What do you think? And while I wait for your response, let's talk about these two minis. No, it is not a sponsored segment. So this tree monster, which is called a Wraith Root Tree. It is WizKids and I believe also Critical Role. This is the, is it Red Dragon? RD Beaky. This is a WizKids and Paizo owlbear. So I've been looking for a good owlbear and I found it. It's from Paizo, the Pathfinder. It's the Pathfinder owlbear. Problem is, yesterday after the stream, I was on a call with my mom, and I just picked this up and I started painting it while I was talking to my mom because I didn't like how it was painted. It was a little too bland. So I painted its coat to be a little bit more variant in the browns. So we have a nice light, you can kind of see a stripe going on. And then we have darker inseams. And then also a lot of shade and shadow between the fur made from not shading, what's the word? Wash. I use wash, a dark brown wash between everything to kind of get a nice blend. I still want to do a nice highlight pass, do a pass on the claws and everything. I'll probably do that on stream, but it was a nice update. This mini is a tree. This is typically just almost full green, but while I had the brown paint drying for this owlbear, I was dry brushing this guy, and I wanted more of the wood grain to pop, and I was using different variants of brown to get that pop to happen on his grain. I really like it. And on the tips, you know, there's a little bit more brightness happening there. Yeah, and this is just an example of how it's, if you want to paint minis, you don't have to buy a completely unpainted mini, right? You can buy a painted mini that it just, the mini speaks to you and you like that mini. And then you can just repaint it. You can touch it up. You can completely change it. It's up to you. This owlbear could be a white owlbear. This owlbear could be a black owlbear. Give me this right now. It's more of a grizzly owlbear. So there could be a polar owlbear, a black owlbear, grizzly. I can't think of any. A panda. I could paint this to be a panda owlbear, a growl bear. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because I think it's important to be reminded that you don't always have to start with a blank canvas. You can get the mini that you want and touch it up later. And you can retouch it up. One campaign, you're in the tundra, you need a polar owl bear. Grab your favorite owl bear and paint it to be white. And then you put it on the table, it's the same owl bear, but you've just painted it to be more for this terrain. And then later, when you need it again in the south, you can paint it to be a brown one or something else. So, what did everyone say about trees? Can the tree fit on the base without the extender? Chance. Okay, so we got the base here. Big thing to remember, the magnets that are on the bottom are bigger than the magnets that are in the middle. So, yes, it can. And, you know, if I paint, let's see if I can get some good lighting. That angle, you can see that there is some pink between the trunk and the grass. So if I painted that foam...
Sorry.
I'm
drinking a LaCroix and tea, and it's just like...
if I painted the pink that's inside here mud brown, this could go on no problem. And then we have a small tree. And we take a trunk, fit it in just right. We have a tall tree. So that part of the build is functional and works great. We dig. I was wondering where that tree fig was from. Thanks for the info. Fisto. So the top part of the tree where it has all the branches that I've glued on, that is a armature from Woodland Scenic. The link should be in the description. The bottom trunk, on the other hand, is a 6-inch by 1 centimeter wide bamboo dowel. The link should be in the description. I cut it in half with just a little handsaw, and then with a knife, after I drill the magnet in and figure out where the tree is going to sit. Sometimes I'm not in control with that, so... And then I carve the bottom with a knife to kind of have a nice blend matching point there. And then the base is just made out of pink insulation foam, meant to look like it's grass on a rock. The modulation of those trees are awesome. Yeah, I think it's super satisfying. Like, it feels like this does what I set out to do with this first prototype. This wobbly guy. In a previous stream, I said that I thought this was a nice clean look, and it is. But, you know, looking at this with the rock texture on the base, this is super satisfying to look at. And that's a big thing when making minis, painting minis. I find that is a high criteria for me, is like, does it look nice to look at? This thing is going to sit in front of me during a 30-minute battle. And it's just got to look nice. I got to admire the thing my eyes are just stuck on, whether I'm doing a zone out because it's not my turn or whatever. The thing in front of me, if it looks pretty and I can admire kind of some of the details, that's a big plus. Because we can tell as people when someone puts a lot of detail into something versus getting something from a store. Getting something from a store does the job, which no one ever, I find no one ever puts you down for getting a simple thing to get the job done. But if you can put your work into crafting and making something special for your players or someone, they admire it even more. So I like this. I think what we're going to do today, it's been already a half hour, which is crazy. What we're going to do is we already planned out a few things. I admire it. That's what matters, Sam. We'll plan out a couple things for the foam. So I'll probably grab some of my foam and we can trace it and get ready to cut those out, if not cut them out. And I'm gonna grab some of the flock and patch up some of the tree that fell apart last night, as you witnessed, and put a little bit more of this summer spice into the top of the tree. Oh, this prototype 2 keeps wanting to fall. Or prototype 1. So yeah, this is great. Write down the steps that it took to build this whole thing, so I have that. Yeah. I'm psyched. Are you psyched? If you're psyched, hit the like button. Also, this is a creature from hell. It's amazing. It's got so many eyeballs. I love it. But I gotta remember, the glue that I'm going to use to glue the new patching is not going to be the hardcore glue, because it's going to make that residue from the first tree. So I'll probably just use the PVA watered down glue, which I have to go make. Cool. Well, let's get the glue and the water, put it in the spray bottle, grab the material. Yeah. All right. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some. It's grabbing too many things to carry the camera around, so I'll be right back. Chill. Enjoy the music. Give me a second.
He's so tired. Stop.
Something to remember, if you're ever going to get these little spray bottles for watered down glue, is you want to stick the nozzle into some just water when you're done with it, or before you use it again, and just pump warm water through just to get any buildup of glue out. I almost forgot about that. Alright, I'm going to start with putting some wash on this trunk. The goal here is really to just hide all that glue stain from yesterday. Just darken the crevices. And once it's dry tomorrow, I'll do just a highlight pass and I'll be done. There we go. Cool. That works for me. For the base, we want to hide what this hole looks like. So let's put some brown in there. More than enough. Tap that out a little bit. Okay. Great. So it's just a nice little brown spot, all good. Happy with that. So now the tree. We have dark foliage for underneath, and we have the summer spice for the top. I want to grind this up. I'm going to grab my coffee grinder.
How dare you?
Reason why I'm using the coffee grinder instead of the blender.
Different vibes.
Different vibes, you know? Just need different vibes. The coffee grinder grinds it into a finer powder. And since I'm doing a touch-up, I want finer material. There we go. So,
Wow. What is it?
put a spice of summer into the coffee grinder too. There we go. Here we go. If you like Dungeons and Dragons or tabletop, anything, hit the like button. That's my ad.
I know, guys. Trauma. Wait till the vacuum comes out later.
Okay. There's a couple nuggets left. I'm gonna just rip those up. But everything else got chopped up nicely. All right. So because it's the darker foliage. This is for underneath. Hey, that's where the nozzle is. There we go. So you can kind of see where I'm going.
Where are you going? You going down? Are you okay now? The scary sound went away?
You talking to the cats?
Yep. Snake was horrified with you doing the coffee grinder. He was staring at you so hard. I kept calling his name so I could like pet him and soothe him, and he wouldn't look at me. And I was like, I know the moment I touch him, he's gonna freak out, and he did.
Buddy. So looking at my patchwork, I feel like I covered the spots where I wanted most really well. And now I'm just drenching it with watered down PVA glue, 1-to-1 ratio. My finger's getting sore. There we go. All right, let's sprinkle some summer spice on top. Whoops. Yeah, you see, it keeps falling, some pieces keep falling down. That's mostly because it's not fine foliage, it's clunky foliage. Clunky foliage is good for your first, like, patch on, But if you're really adding stuff to it, it's really making it harder. That's just a thing you learn by doing. A spice of summer. Tap those in. Yeah. A lot of glue. It's what you want.
Often. I know exactly what you want. I thought I should just fill the belly with kibble.
There we go. And so now this just has to dry upside down. There's so much glue everywhere. It's just sprayed everywhere. I'm gonna have to clean all of it. Let's see how I can hang this up. Let's go. Getting all my summer spice on my fingers.
Your summer spice. Is that pepper?
It hangs on. It hangs on well. Magnets. No, my summer spice is these nice little bright yellow and bright green flocking
Oh, okay.
that I think is meant for like adding flowers and stuff to bushes, but it adds a nice summery brightness to the highlights.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Just makes it colorful and feel warm like summer.
Mm-hmm. I really like it. Ugh. So, now that it's drying upside down right over there, well, now we deal with the trunk and the base again. This has got too much glue on it. There we go. Very wet. Very glued. Let me grab a bright paint. I think I'm gonna go for, yeah, this beige. We haven't used this color yet. But it's just a apple barrel matte beige. And I think this will be a nice light wood highlight. Grab this big brush. Okay, yeah, it blends just right. So we got the trunk done. And the base is still a little wet down there. So that's okay. But yeah, that's gonna pop right in. I'm happy. The second prototype is definitely going to be one of the final pieces, which is super exciting. Now it's about cleaning up just a little bit to cut some foam for the next 15-20 minutes. And that way we can make some more bases. Let me grab the foam. So normally with foam, when it has a shiny surface, like both sides of this crafting foam does, you would want to cut off both surfaces because this plasticky, shiny surface is not really good for crafting. You can't really dig into it, it rips too much. For these bases, it's okay if you leave it on the bottom, totally fine. It's the top that we want to worry about, which makes the cutting of this so much faster and easier. So let's take prototype 1. Because I have a 3-inch base glued here, we can use that as our template. And we can go right up to the corner. I think the other side is the damage side. Yeah, let's use the damage side so we can keep an eye on that. Oh, that's totally fine, even though that's all busted up down there. Marker. And this is pretty simple and chill. You just draw your circle. And that's the circle that we're going to be working with. As you can see, when I put the final base in, it's maybe a centimeter diameter smaller. And that's just because of all the carving that we do to texture it. So let's just clean off some of this. There we go. So my thinking will be, because we have summers, autumns, winters, spookies, fae, and pine trees to worry about on this list, 16 bases total. We're not going to do 16 bases, or at least right now, one step at a time. We need to get our green bases done first and foremost, and that's just 4 green bases, and we have 4 already done. But I would like to do 1 mud and 1 actually, you know what, the green one is used again for fae and pine. That's an interesting dilemma. Let me sit on that thought. I might have to make more than I thought I did. This is a tight fit on the far end, but it's doable with the final piece. Yeah. Okay. For Cocaine Owlbear, or for any forest game, when you think about your space, I have a 2 foot by 2 foot circle to play in. This can be the Fae tree while this is the normal forest, but then I also need pines that I want to mix in. Oh wow, I might need 8 green and 8 mud, so I can mix and match bigger forests together. That's intense. I mean, it's a forest. Okay, let's do 8. I think I can outline all of them on this board, so we'll see about that. Come on, hands. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 trees can come out of this stock of foam. Woohoo!
Caught a fish.
You caught a fish.
A Dorado. I haven't gotten this one before.
There we go. So some circles you can see are cut off on the edge, and that's totally fine. Again, the final piece is smaller than the whole circle. So this is 14 bases. According to my early math, we need 16-ish. I think 14 is going to do, and we'll balance that out. Maybe we do 7 mud and 7 green. I think that'll be okay. And it's just to give me variant forests. So, and I think all of these, yeah, all of these are going to be gray rock for this. I'm not making any desert trees, or I am making a winter tree, but not any winter bases. Maybe in the future, we'll see. I'm gonna grab the wire cutter, and we're gonna cut this up. Go. Oh yeah, it's an angle. Did the angle make a? Ooh, did the angle make a difference? A little, not really. So. Trying to feel out the space that I have right underneath the camera. Get rid of this. Okay. So you can see that this is all busted up, and that's totally fine. That's all not going to make into the final piece. I've thought about giving my older minis away, mostly because they're taking up space. And most of my older minis I didn't build, I've only painted. So I was like, I shouldn't really sell them. If someone was interested in a commission, I mean, I don't normally do it because I just haven't put my foot forward to do so. But if someone was interested in saying, in minis that I'm confident in making, such as the wooden structures or these trees, yeah, I think I'd be down to negotiate and figure out what's what makes sense, both on a timeline, budget, and materials. The reason I'd be down for it is the way I started crafting is by buying other people's crafting projects, and then by seeing it in my hand, I was able to understand it. So my relationship with purchasing crafting projects is completely different than most people, I think.
Well, it's how you figure out the puzzle.
Yeah.
You have to see the puzzle, take the puzzle apart, and rebuild it. That's how your brain works.
That's just how my brain works.
That's why you homebrew.
That's literally why I make homebrew rules, is to sometimes understand why rules are written the way they are. In the corner of my eye, I'm seeing chat pop up. I'll check it in a second. I'm trying not to mess up too bad. Good rule of thumb. If I'm like actively, my hands are doing something, I'm probably not checking chat. Let's clean that. It's okay for there to be a nudge, as long as it's not a drastic cliff. There we go. And Flux, no apologies needed. I got some stuff off Etsy and reverse engineered it. Hey, that's how I build my bases, my original bases. We're in full-blown tree production now. But I don't use my foam bases anymore because I actually support another creator on Etsy, Grip Mats, who makes, it's the same material that you would get for a mouse pad, but I have a 2 foot wide circular mat that is dual sided, and it's just easier to store for at least my style of play. But then I make a bunch of scatter terrain to go on top. Yeah, after the trees, well, at least after the summer trees, I think the plan will be to work on some docks and piers and save the other trees kind of in the background for a minute, so that way there's some variation of projects, and then it can feel like I got something done. Get some docks and piers made, which follows something similar construction-wise to the wooden structures. And those are going to also have magnets. After the docks and piers, I really want to make pillars and dungeon tiles. I really want to get that made. Even though I probably won't use them a whole lot, I really feel like I don't have enough dungeon. I also really want to make a ship. I think I'll save the ship. I think after the trees, I'll do dungeon tiles and pillars. Because my dungeon tiles look very different than what most people expect them to be. At least that's the plan. And they're going to be magnetic and modular. And the plan is to have it build out with the stairs that I prototyped a while back. You know, the 900 brick stair. So that's one piece so far. It's not finished, actually. Where is it? Because I don't need to make texture at the top or bottom, just the side. We'll see how that goes. That might be a step that I can save. Come on, baby. There we go. Clean that off. Oh, that's right. I ordered sponges to make garden walls. So I want to make a high society garden that's magnetic and modular that can function as like fountains and stuff in a dungeon. After the tiles. Oh, that was weird. Going over time a little bit, but we're so close to cutting these all out. Well, that's actually a good sign to stop. My wire snapped. Overuse. I guess that's a good spot to stop, I guess. Well, we did cut out a bunch of bases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Technically, this 7 pile right here is more than enough what we need for the green summer forest. So I'm probably going to cut this up just to be easier to store, but we only need this pile. It's good to know. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Tomorrow's stream, bless you.
Thank you.
Tomorrow's stream will not be.
Crafting something.
It is not going to be
Physical.
trees.
That's the word.
It's not going to be a tree crafting stream. Instead, it will be a Dungeon Master prep stream.
Ooh.
Thursday, there's not going to be a stream. Thursday, I am DMing a one-shot for some friends who have their friends coming into town, and they're like, "Hey, Carmichael, can you run a game for us? Just a little private one shot." I was like, "Yeah, sure, come on." No cameras, no recording. It's just for them. So tomorrow, what we're going to do, I'm going to do the final steps or the stages of prep that I need to do, and kind of run through the one shot with you and kind of see what my thinking is. Because I have a little basic structure, nothing thorough. And we'll just go over that game. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out again. And I'm very thankful for you guys. I appreciate every minute, every hour we get to hang out. The tree's going to dry. Can't wait to see what it looks like and feel what it feels like. Have a wonderful rest of your day. You deserve it. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening, in case we're in a different time zone. And of course, good night. Bye, guys. Make sure you hit the like button, and I'll see you tomorrow.